What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, IG, TikTok, bottom video, and we just gonna hop into it. Now, this is my second time doing this video because my dumb ass had recorded it in slow mo a motherfucking game. But I think I'm gonna do better this time because this shit was all over the place. I'm gonna try to keep it better this time and more. Excuse me, goddamn, and more concise. Now. Obviously, I talked about this last week, and this has been a hot topic for the new. It was the hottest topic until Young Thug got freed. The Lil Durk thing. Now, if you haven't, you had to be under a tree if you hadn't heard Lil Durk get arrested. Lil Durk got arrested for murder for hire in a conspiracy to kill. Well, was trying to kill Quando Rondo, but they killed Lil Pap in Beverly Hills. So basically, it's been a couple more. I think it's been about 2 weeks. So it's been a lot more details. Indictment been released. They're not giving a lot of details, but yeah, it's been more details. More people who have law experience been talking about it. So I'm basically just gonna get into the details and give my opinion on it. So at first he was it was a criminal complaint and not indicted. I think he's been indicted now. Obviously. Like I said, we all know from reading this indictment that this case is built around witnesses and snitches, but that's a lot with Fed case and stuff. A lot of motherfuckers, especially when the Feds come, a lot of motherfuckers snitch. So supposedly the main snitch right now, but been the main snitch is OTF Jam. OTF Jam was an older member. He did a 12-year bid. Supposedly the reason he snitched is he did a 12-year bid, came home. Got caught with a switch and then turned Fed. But it's been a lot of speculation why LC snitched. I mean, that could be one. It also could be he was just frustrated with how Durk was treating him. Cause one this is a thing in the YSL case. Woody, I don't know if Woody said this on the stand or he just publicly said this somewhere on the interview or anything. But Woody stated how what made him kind of turn on Thug was he was getting frustrated with how Thug was treating him, and he was the one out here risking his life and putting in work in the streets. So that could have been a possibility. Another possibility is that this nigga OTF Jam baby mama had actually got killed, but we don't know if that was okay. From looking from outside in, I believe that was just in retaliation. I think they figured out that he was snitching and that was in retaliation. But it could be at the same time that happened and then they ain't do nothing about it and that added to the frustration. But on a timeline scale, I think it was they figured out he was a snitch and that was part of them trying to keep him quiet. Now, like I said, it's a lot of details going into it. Now, that part, I'm going to just get into the witness. It's a part about witness intimidation. Now, I was watching Bradford Cohen talk, Kodak's lawyer, Bradford Cohen talk about how the witness intimidation don't always shake out when it comes to Fed case in the trial because witness intimidation could be somebody that's kind of involved with the case talking to somebody who's going to be a witness and saying something like, "Oh, I don't think it's a good idea. You should be a witness," and then they end up trying to say because they're kind of involved with the case or involved person with the case, they're trying to say that's witness intimidation, but that's kind of obviously y'all can hear how I'm saying it's kind of weak. But like I said, if they actually tried to silence him by killing his baby mama, then that's witness intimidation. Now, if they bring that into the case, like I said, well, I'm gonna get into if they bring all this shit together. But like I said, let's see. Now so they have a couple co-conspirators on the case. Now I forgot them. I ain't count, but. One is Lil Durk. Two is a shooter, but two is the biggest threat to put Durk in jail. We not sure who three is. Some people thought three was DD, but I don't think so. And it seemed like the last co-conspirator, he's from California, so he's not part of OTF, but he probably had something to do with in giving the location for them for them to be able to know all this shit, because obviously somebody dropped the load days, weeks ahead for them to know all this shit. On top of that, supposedly it's an assistant that they had book flights that didn't know what they was doing it for. It's just their job to book flights and shit. That they might be turning, so that's not good either. Now supposedly some of the like I said, two is the biggest threat because for you to be able to snitch on somebody like this, like you have to be in the middle in the mix of things. One, you have to be able to give up somebody who's higher than you, but at the same time, you have to be so involved in the mix that you can do things where you can call the shots or for a look for something at least, or you can you're a shooter on the case that they trust you with information. Now, supposedly, some of the not all the hired guns were from OTF. Supposedly, two of them was from out west. You know, that's what they say. Them niggas from West Chicago, and one was from Gary. So now this could be a plausible deniability because it's like, nigga, we don't know them niggas. But at the same time, the thing about the at the same time, it's like, nigga, you trust him? Like, have you done something with him before for you to trust him out in the field? Because you trying to, this is different. You trying to take somebody's life, you out in the field, so you got to trust him in the field next to you. But supposedly, that was from, yeah. Supposedly they ain't know each other, but Gary liked that, so I see why he got a nigga from Gary. Gary is like that though. All right, so and then also like I said, they was on. So supposedly the wiretaps that they do have from OTF Jam, at least with Bradford Cohen said that he's not really actually saying deliberately to tell them to do these things. That he's talking in code. So I mean, yeah, you could probably decipher code eventually, especially if you got all the other details in the case. But at the same time, it's not exact. You feel me? It's not concrete. You feel me? Like it's not. It's never gonna be as good as a nigga saying it straight verbatimly. Like, so that could be a thing that helps. I mean, they already can't. They're in California. They can't use lyrics for real. So now also one thing he Bradford Cohen was talking about, he may have booked the y'all cause it had came out like right after he did the video. Ooh, I gotta cut that. Let me start that. All right, what Bradford Cohen said, he may have, it had came out that he had booked the flights to it was Italy, Dubai or somewhere else. He had booked flights, basically. So he was saying it could have been a possibly a lot of people they try to do see if that's how they have a warrant because it's not public information to have a warrant. So that's a way because if you book an international flight, because they're going to red flag you, they're going to tell you that a pilot is this or they're under investigation, all that. So, well, I'm going to get into my opinion on that too in a couple minutes. Hold on. Now, also another detail is, so the reason why it's the murder for hire thing might change. And it's, okay, yeah. For the murder for hire thing might change because one, if they're OTF members, then they can be considered not contracted killers, even though they have an incentive. For the simple fact is, when you do murder for hire, the person who is hired for the murder usually doesn't have a dog in the fight. You feel me? He doesn't really care if the person is killed or not. He's doing it for the monetary. So obviously, these people, if they are OTF, like they said, OTF is a gang, like they're trying to prove. Well, they ain't proved it yet, but I think they will. I'm about to get into it. Then they can say all of them had incentive to slide for Vaughn, and it cannot be exactly a murder for hire. Now I say all this to say that I think I'm scared for Durk because I think they doing all this and trying to put all these details together and saying that they gonna change that murder for hire because on reason I just said into a RICO. And a Fed RICO is a lot different than the goddamn state RICO that nigga Thug just beat. So, the reason I said they might turn to a RICO is because, one, obviously this whole case, they're trying to pin that Durk is the one funding the killing and all this. So, that would make him funding a criminal enterprise, which is also leads to a RICO. That's also one leads to a RICO. The reason I also say that is because people think that they are going to bring in other murders that supposedly that Durk was behind, like the FBG Cash murder. Like I said, they can't bring up lyrics, but if you heard a couple lyrics, it might sound a little crazy. I might do a video on songs that this nigga was. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that, but still. But yeah, so they might bring the FBG, and we also talk about D Thing. was if he wasn't dead by the time they picked up the people, D thing would have got picked up with the FBG Duck case because he was one of the people that got the location and sent the money for it. So basically, I say all this to say, one, I do think OTF. I don't think OTF jam. Like I do believe the I could see the frustration part, but I do believe it's the switch. It's the switch, and I do believe they killed his baby mama to silence him just because of the timeline. I don't think he did it because he was frustrated with Dirk, and Dirk had gave 50,000 when he got out. So I think he did that because he ain't want to go back to jail, and they tried to silence him, and I think. If they put that together, that's also part of that could be the RICO witness intimidation. So that makes me a little nervous for that. Um, like I said, also like I said earlier about the co-conspirator stuff, like cases like these, Fed cases, they just one, they're kind of relying on people to tell. So them co-conspirators, if you read it, it kind of looks scary. Kind of look like they have a chance to turn. Um, so if there are multiple snitches, I think Dirk's in trouble for real. Um, like I said, I spoke my piece about the code part. About the book flights, I don't think at all Dirk was booking to see if he had a warrant. I think Dirk knew them niggas was coming. A couple, like I said, Dirk was out here. One, he took his kids to Disney World. Two, Dirk, he booked 3 flights, and that's what Cohen said that would be weird. All he need, if he was just looking for a warrant, he could just book for one. I think Dirk was trying to Euro step niggas, and he got caught. He was booking 3 flights, just trying to see if they would pick 1, 2 flights to catch him at, and then get on the third one and slide out. That's what I think his goal was. But I just see him. You book 3 flights that are like that's a perfect number, not a perfect number, but you feel me? Like 3 is used for a lot of to count a lot of shit. So they probably would have thought you was on the third one. But they probably you think I mean they might have sent feds to all 3, but he probably should got on that first or second one because 3 just sound too good. Um. So yeah. I think I'm scared. Like, I really wanted to do this video on like, do I think he's cooked or not? And I've been back and forth with this basically in the last couple weeks, just reading stuff. Like the way Cohen set it up, like Kodak lawyer, he made it sound better than I think it might be. But I feel like it's always in the middle. Like it's details, more details shake out. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, this case is built around witnesses, and I said this on the last time that if the government want this case to go, if the feds want this case to go well, they should have OTF jam on 24-hour surveillance, and I still stand on that because, like I said, this case is built around the witness. If the wiretaps, if what Cohen is saying is accurate, that the wiretaps only got him speaking in code and not directly, and then something happens with then the case is really to shit, especially if nobody else turns. But it just doesn't sound like them couple of them co-conspirators is not gonna at least tell a little something. And if they do turn to Rico, that really makes me nervous because I feel like them being able to prove that he was funding stuff is a lot easier than them to be like murder to have to pinpoint him to it. Well, okay, they would have to do both to prove Rico because usually Ricos come like that when somebody gets killed, like a main murder is built around Ricos. Young Thugs was big nut pause. So usually it's a murder built around Ricos. So yeah, they would have to prove that he did pay for this one exactly, but I feel like they could prove that he paid for a lot of shit, and that would just lead them to saying he's funding a criminal enterprise. So in a Fed Rico, saying Feds got mandatory minimum, so I pray not they turn it to a Rico, but if I'm gonna be 100% honest, and I fuck with Dirk so heavy, I think he gonna do 20 years at least though. Like niggas was talking about they gonna get it like the old block, like old blocks when they killed Duck. And I don't believe they gonna get it like that. They got like 50 years. I don't think that's gonna happen because I don't think that the evidence is as concrete. The evidence definitely looks bad, but I felt like it's a witness pointing them to the evidence in the Dirt case. With the FBG Duck case, it didn't really you didn't really need a witness. Like they kind of drew it up for you on your own if you follow them on social medias, and if you just watch their actions enough, they kind of gave it away themselves. So that's why I think 50 is gonna be a little different. But I think he might. I don't think he getting out this bitch without doing 20, and I hope not. But Yeah, man, that shit sad to say, but like, share, subscribe, comment, IG, TikTok, bottom of the video, and we out.